Hi everyone, how are you? This is Ali Whitecheck from Square One, and I am in beautiful Sydney. Check this out. Oh, you can see. Anyway, that's the aquarium, and that's Sydney traffic, which I don't miss. But yeah, so it's been a fantastic couple of days. I'm just apologies for the noise, super noisy. So I'm just at this conference, HR and Tech Fest conference in Sydney. So with a bunch of different experts and delegates who are in the HR and learning and development space. So pretty fantastic really to hang out with these kind of people and understand sort of their challenges and what they're going through. And yesterday we had a couple of really good sessions, one from Alex, whose surname I cannot pronounce, but he's from a company called Happiness, and from the company is called Woohoo, so it's very exciting. He's from Denmark, and he really talks about happiness being a result driven, I guess, a skill that really is what helps people feel that they're making progress, and that's really what truly drives happiness. Really interesting, some of the insights he shared with everybody, which were around, those fancy and little things that organizations provide, like like a sleeping chair or gym memberships or smoothies in the mornings, that kind of stuff that actually that doesn't make people happier. So that was quite interesting, and he really talks about giving praise and recognition and really helping leaders especially to look at how they can be happier themselves, and by being happier themselves they can ultimately pass that on to the employees there in the organization. And very, very important, which we kind of forget, is also hiring the right people or hiring happy people, which I'm a big fan of. And I genuinely believe that you can hire people who are really good humans and then get them skilled in what you want to get them skilled, and then from that hopefully have a very good team culture. So that was really interesting. Then we had Josh, he's the HR guru. It's probably first time I come across Josh, but he was very intelligent, very knowledgeable guy in the HR space. He was doing a video broadcast from San Francisco as he couldn't attend, but he was really talking about how artificial intelligence is being used, but also how it's very early to really start look at the benefits and understand them well, but really kind of look at the different tools that exist in that space with a grain of salt, because obviously they're not perfect yet, but there is a little bit of progress still to be made. And just really for leaders to really, HR leaders or learning and development leaders, to really look at different tools across an employee's journey rather than just the one tool that is going to solve all of the problems. So that was really interesting. And then we had Thomas from Lego, who I was so very looking forward to hear speak and meet him in person, and he's been wonderful. I met him yesterday. I'm so excited. I've got a photo. And yeah, Thomas was very good at sharing the mission and the vision of Lego, which a lot of people kind of know, but it was really, really good to get that, really about inspiring and developing the builders of tomorrow, and also how we as leaders are responsible for also being the leaders of tomorrow with that imagination and creativity, which is something that sadly goes away quite a lot after we enter the school system. And I've noticed this in an awful lot of detail over the last few months, where we have introducing play and creativity in a lot of the sessions that we run, and how leaders truly struggle, and it's not their fault. People grow up and walk into the school system, and school systems truly take play away and do not include play as a creative problem-solving tool. So it was really interesting to hear Tom talk about that, and he talks about the clutch power, so which I found super cool. So the clutch power is actually when you get two pieces of Lego together, but the way he was talking about the clutch power is how you get two people connecting together. So how you get people within the organization connected, how also you get people connecting with the organization, and the clutch power that should exist. So it's a Lego thing. So that was really cool. And he also talks about how organizations can have definitely play dates, have a day a year, have play as a part of the onboarding experience, hiring experience, all of that. And then we have Dana from Bupa, and that was super fantastic because I was talking to Dana on Sunday night about the combination of Agile and Scrum, which I'm all over now because we've been talking to an awful lot of people around design sprints and also how you can create like an agile execution implementation model, which is exactly what they've done, which is really cool. So Dana was really talking about that, entering with that human-centered design aspect, really looking at the empathy, the definition, the ideation, but really going into a Scrum, which is very agile, but really delivering one feature or one product or one service per month, and actually have that created that sense of results, which was, as we know from Alex from Woohoo, that gives a lot of happiness, and actually how that's created an awful lot of traction internally. So I was really fascinated by that. Then we had Kumud from Airbnb talking about data with meaning, and that was really interesting how Airbnb has, I mean, several dashboards to track employee experience, but oh god, like it's beyond me. It's pretty intense, but yeah, really interesting to see how they've done it, how they started, and also all of the platforms and different softwares that they have introduced across the last 6 to 8 years to make it happen. And then we had someone beautiful from the US talking about diversity and inclusion, which was really lovely because it was all around, you know, how we all have biases, and even though when we don't think we do. And we ran through this cool exercise where you actually had to close your eyes and you were told a story of two people driving in a car and hitting a tree or something, and then there is a police officer that comes in and then asking people who was in this image in your head. And it was really interesting because an awful lot of us, we were like, well, there were two males, first of all. They were around 17. They were listening to some rap sort of music, and they had some drugs that looked like this. So it's really interesting. None of this was sharing the story, but we had these biases in our heads. And also the police officer was a male. Anyway, just really interesting, and also how we can bring diversity by just really having that inclusion and having that maturity model, which is something I talk about all the time when we work with clients and we do projects. It's like everybody wants to work on transformation and they want everything to happen yesterday, but the whole point is that you must ensure that you have a mastery of improvement and execution, and you must have a maturity model. You're going to be working on the basics, the very low-hanging fruit implementation and changes are really easy, high impact, low effort, and then you go into a, higher impact but high effort. And this could take an awful lot of time. So yeah, that was really interesting. And then we had someone, which I can't remember his name, Gabe, oh God, from the US, talking about gamification in the US and actually how it's been very successful, being introduced as a hiring tool, and for the Navy, how it's been used, Domino's, how it's been used to really share the vision and the story. So very, very interesting. Of everything that I've seen, one of the biggest things that I've noticed is that there isn't an awful lot of design thinking or design-led thinking within human resources and learning and development. And a couple of people that I've been speaking to who have done it, they know and understand the value. But it's really interesting that there is 850 people in here, and I would say that probably the majority have not used any design-led thinking, and that is, I find, crazy, but normal, as we know. Human resources especially do not get exposed to creative problem solving, design thinking, human-centered design, as much as obviously we people in the perhaps employee experience, customer experience, or or human-centered design experience get exposed to. So for me, it's like, how don't you know this? So I think we all have a role to play, and this is personally for me, I have a big role to play in bringing this knowledge and awareness. And I always say that word, awareness, because when we talk to people about human-centered design and then we bring it to the forefront and people have no idea that this is actually a way of problem solving and finding solutions that are all about the people, they're just mind blown by the possibilities, and awareness is key. We need to all bring awareness to anybody in the human resources, operations, sales, marketing, every area. But human resources, we're talking about people and executives and leaders and managers who talk to people and deal with people. And if they're not the one equipped with human-centered tools and skills, then they're going to fail. And failure, as we know, is okay, but we want to make progress, and we want to make beautiful progress. So what are we doing to help them? What are we doing to really provide them the tools to guide them on this journey of self-discovery and awareness and human-centered design? And I'm so very excited for the path ahead, because there is so much opportunity, and I really truly believe that there is an awful lot still to be done. And it's not about technology. We're talking here yesterday and this morning, technology. It's like we are literally looking at people. We are talking to people. So anyway, that's my summary and a bit of a rant about design-led thinking and how it can be brought to the forefront of upskilling and learning and development for a lot of these HR and L&D people. So anyway, I'll give you more of an update tomorrow, and chat to you guys soon. Bye.